So, good evening and welcome to the new year. It's 2022. So, I hope that you had a good New Year's Eve celebration and that the beginning of 2022 has treated you well. This is the first Sunday stamping of the year, and so it seems like it's been a while since we have connected live on Facebook. I hope that you had a good holiday season and that it was restful and that you and your family were able to get together and that you are staying safe and healthy. And so tonight I want to show you some new product that is coming out January 4th in our new January to June 2022 catalog. So before I flip down, actually maybe I will flip down the view. Hi Janine, thanks for watching. Happy New Year. If you are watching live, let me know by giving me a thumbs up or putting in a comment. And if you're watching on the replay, leave a comment and let me know that you've watched on the replay. Okay, so before I flip down, if you are new to my page, my name is Jenna Moore. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in London, Ontario, Canada. And every Sunday at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, I go live and I share with you things that I'm working on in my crafting studio with new products, techniques, just different things that I'm working on that I'm sharing with you. And so you can either watch live on Facebook or afterwards I also upload it to YouTube. And I will post the link to my YouTube channel below if you ever want to go back and check out those videos. So if you are watching on YouTube, make sure that you like the video and subscribe. And if you want to hit the bell for the notifications, you'll know when a new video has been posted. So let's flip here. Okay, so like I said, the new mini January to June catalog is coming out January 4th. And this is the catalog. I do have catalogs in stock. I mailed out a whole bunch this week, so if you are a current customer of mine, you either had a catalog delivered or we made arrangements to have you pick one up, or I mailed a whole bunch out. If you are not a current customer and you live in Canada and you do not have a demonstrator already, I would be happy to mail you copies of the catalogs. You just need to send me your mailing address in a message or through my email, and you can access my email account by visiting my blog, which is jennascraftingstudio.com, because I do need your mailing address to be able to send that to you. And not only do we have this new mini catalog, but we also will have the first celebration of 2022, and this runs from January 4th to the end of February, and this is chock full of products that you can earn for free with every $60 or $120 order. And it doesn't have to be from the new catalog, it can be from the annual catalog. Any $60 or $120 order will get you free product from this brochure. Because the catalogs have not gone live yet, I cannot show you anything in the catalogs as yet, but I do have some product that I have that I can show you, and that's what we're going to work with tonight. So the suite that I'm going to show you is called Artfully Composed, and it is in the mini catalog. Before we do that, I just want to let you know that I do have my event posted for January. So because of the uncertainty of what's going to happen this month, I decided to go with a virtual bingo class. And so this class will take place on Friday, January 21st, and it will also be we're going to create cards with the same suite, the Artfully Composed Suite. If you do not have the suite, that's okay. You will need a greeting stamp set. I do have options available where you can save the shipping and the tax on the stamp set or the bundle if you choose to add it on to this class. So this class will take place on Zoom. It's $45, and in that class fee, you will get $25 of product from the new catalog. And you will also get the cards to make, or the supplies to make 3 cards, the ones that are shown here. And if you invite a friend, you will both get an extra bingo card to play bingo, as well as a double set of card supplies. So we will play rounds of bingo for prizes of Stampin' Up! New product, and then we will create the 3 cards. So if you're interested in that, the last call for that is January 3rd, which is tomorrow, by midnight. I need to know the numbers before I put in the order. So if you're interested in this, please let me know that you want to join in. We are looking for a couple more people to join to make this a successful event. So if you have a friend that might be interested in joining you to play bingo that night, maybe let them know, and you can both get a double set of cards and an extra bingo ticket. And then the other event I wanted to share with you before we get started is my January to June paper share. So this is 96 sheets of 6x6 designer series paper. So you're getting sheets of 6x6 paper from all of the new designer series paper patterns in the mini catalog. And the cost to you is $45. And I think I worked it out. If you were to buy all of the packs of paper in the new catalog, the total with shipping and tax would be something like over $160. So this way you're getting a small sample from every paper pack, and you're paying only $45. So last call for this paper share is also tomorrow, January 3rd. So I need you to let me know if you want to join in on that paper share. So one of the products we're using tonight is actually one of the new designer series papers. So I thought I would show you the papers that I have already so that you know what they look like sometimes. Even if you have the catalog, it doesn't really do the colors justice. So I wanted to show you some of the papers that are included in the paper share. This one is Flowering Fields. This is a tulip design on one side and then a pattern on the other side. This paper pack has a whole bunch of coordinating colors, so this is a great one to have if you have sort of a limited supply of the Stampin' Up! Cardstock. You are sure to find one of the colors that you have that will coordinate with this paper pack. This is a fun one for Valentine's Day. This one is called Sweet Talk, and it's got some graphics with hearts and then also some fun patterns with these conversation hearts. This is a fun suite that I'll be working with in a future video. And then before we get started, so this is the one we're working with tonight. This one is Artfully Composed, and the reason I'm drawn to this is all of the bright, fun colors. So this is a lovely designer series paper pack with full of greens. So if you're a green lover, this is the designer series paper pack for you. And then I have a sample of the Celebration designer series paper packs. This one is bold, bright, and beautiful, and there are multiple designs, and so I had to use both sides of this piece of paper to show you all the different patterns. This is a beautiful rainbow designer series paper. It coordinates with a suite in the new catalog, which is also a rainbow design. So this paper pack you can earn free with a $60 purchase. Then we have this one, which is called Daffodil Afternoon. This one I find is a more, I don't know what, like a toned down color combinations, sort of colors I would never think to put together. But I love that it's got black in it. That to me, I always love when designer series paper has black in it, because then that's easy to pull multiple colors in just by having that black. So this is also a pack that you can earn for free with a $60 order. And then the last one I have is called Friendly Hello. Now this designer series paper pack is free also with a stamp set, and that the paper pack and the stamp set are free with a $120 order. So this one is more pastels and bright and bold with the coordinating colors there. Okay. So like I said, we are working tonight with Artfully Composed. So we are pulling from this designer series paper pack. And the reason I am drawn to this suite is because it's all tropical designs. So if you've hung around my Facebook page or my Instagram for any length of time, you know that I love all things Hawaii. Hawaii is a place that was on my bucket list. My husband and I traveled there 7 years ago. It doesn't seem that long, and yet it does all at the same time. And thought it was going to be a once in a lifetime trip. And when we got there, I said to my husband, oh, no, we have to come back because it is just too lovely here to only come here once. So Hawaii is sort of the next place that I want to go once, you know, everything, all travel kind of gets back to normal. So I'm drawn to the tropical foliage images in this suite, not only in the paper, but also in the stamp set, which is here, which has, excuse me, images and sentiments. And again, if you know anything about me, you know I love scripty fonts. So I love how there is a sort of a plain font that coordinates with the scripty font. And then we are going to be working with the dies also tonight. So these are the tropical layer dies. There's actually 9 different dies. And we'll be working with this die here, which is one of the leaves. I am not a gardener, so I could not tell you what type of leaf this is, but I do know it's tropical. And then we'll be using this fun border die as well. So I'm going to show you a selection of cards that I've made with this suite. And starting more at the beginner stamper and then working our way up. So this is the first one we're working with tonight. And as I said, this suite works a lot with the green color. So I've pulled 3 different greens, and I think the only one that doesn't coordinate. So I pulled out Soft Seafoam, which is the lightest green in our Stampin' Up! Color families. This is the only color that doesn't actually coordinate with the designer series paper, but to be completely honest, I don't think anyone would know if you used it with the designer series paper. So I've pulled Soft Seafoam, Pear Pizzazz, and Just Jade, and these are the 3 colors that we're going to use on this card. So this card only uses ink and paper and stamps. So if you are new to paper crafting and you only have paper, stamps, and ink, this is a great layout to use with any of the products that you currently have. And of course, basic white cardstock is sort of that staple that you will need sort of to start off making cards, because you can use any of your ink colors on the white cardstock to get started. So just going to see if I can find my bone folder here. So I have a piece of basic white. This is our thick white cardstock. I actually prefer to use the thick cardstock when using it as my card base. And this is cut in a basic card base size. So this is 8.5 inches by 5.5 inches. So this is one piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock cut in half at 5.5. And I've used my scoring tool on my trimmer to score it at 4.25. So I'm going to take that and fold it in half and use my bone folder to just burnish that edge there. And I'm going to do this card landscape because it's easier to fit all 3 of the leaf images on here. So I've pulled that lovely leaf image in the stamp. I've put it on a D block, and actually I've sort of put it on an angle so it would fit. So a D block is what I would consider a basic stamping block that you can mostly get most images on a D block. So I'm going to start with our lightest color, the Soft Seafoam. I'm going to ink that up. And I'm going to start to the left in the middle, and I'm going to stamp it kind of on an angle. So there's our one, and I'm realizing I didn't wet my chamois before we got started here. So hopefully this will work. So clean that off, and then I'm going to go in with the next lightest color, which is Pear Pizzazz. And I'm slightly going to overlap the images so that it sort of looks like the leaf is fading out in color. Now, if you only had 1 color or 2 colors of green ink, you could do the stamping off technique instead of using 3 different colors of ink. And if you're not familiar with that is, I'll show you what this is. Just Jade. This is the darkest of the inks. So stamping off is a full strength ink, and then without re-inking, stamping again. So you can create variation of color using that technique. But I'm going to go in full strength with Just Jade and stamp again. Okay, so there's our 3 leaves, and I'm actually going to leave this open because I pulled in the thank you sentiment, and I'm going to stamp that in Just Jade and just stamp that near the bottom. And there we go, a nice, quick and easy card. Thank you cards are great to have on hand just for any occasion. So this is a great layout that you could use to mass produce a bunch of thank you cards and then have them on hand. A thank you card is also a great gift that you can give to somebody else. So you could mass produce this card and package it up and give it to somebody as a birthday gift or some sort of hostess gift perhaps that they can use to give out as thank you cards. So that's the first card with this suite. And then I did want to show you sort of a stepped up version of that card. So this one here, I'm going to see if I can zoom in a bit. So this one I've just stepped it up and used a little bit more product and one tool. So what I've done is I've taken a piece of the Designer Series paper and a piece of Pear Pizzazz, which is one of the coordinating colors, and I've matted those on there. I've used the same 3 ink colors for the leaves. And then the tool that I've pulled in is the Tailored Tag Punch. Punches are a great way to add tools to your collection without having to have the full Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So a label punch is perfect when you're just starting out because I've used the same thank you stamp just on a punch piece of crumb cake cardstock. And then to finish it off, I've tied a double bow using our linen thread. And that, again, comes together fairly easily. Again, a nice card that you could mass produce either to give away as thank you cards or to gift to somebody. And then the last card I want to show you is more for our avid crafters who, you know, have lots of tools and supplies in their arsenal. So this one here is fun because we use one of the bright bold colors of the Designer Series paper and pulled in some of the coordinating colors. And instead of stamping the leaves, I've used one of the dies in the set. So let's get started on this one. I do actually have the measurements for this card, so I'm going to leave them up here in the hopes that you can see them. I will be posting these cards on my blog, which you can get to here, and I will have all the measurements for this card on there. So this card we are using the Just Jade color. So again, I've cut the card base in a basic size, which is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And I'm just going to burnish the score line here and put it aside. And then I have all the other pieces. So this is that fun piece of Designer Series paper. Of course, it's double-sided, which all of our Designer Series paper is. This is the pattern that I used on this card here. So I'm going to use this side instead. I have another piece of Just Jade cardstock, and this one is cut 5 1/4 by 2 5/8. I have a label. So this is crumb cake, which is the color cardstock we're going to use for the sentiment. So this one you will want it, I've cut this bigger, but it should be 2 inches by 1.5 inches. I've left it long and I'll show you the reason why. I have a banner of Coastal Cabana, which is 3 inches by 5/8 of an inch. And then I have the 3 leaves, which I've already cut out for the sake of time. And so these are in Coastal Cabana, Pear Pizzazz, and Evening Evergreen. And these pieces of cardstock should be 2 3/4 by 2 1/4. I also have, we're going to be using one of our new ribbons. This is the frayed ribbon. And then I have some of these faux sea glass shapes, which are super fun. These are adhesive back. They look like sea glass. So this is fun. It coordinates in this suite, but you could use this on multiple other projects. So let's get started here. I'm going to take my Designer Series paper and glue it to the front of the card base. So I'm just going to use a couple of strips. of the Stampin' seal. And I'm going to mount this in the middle of the front of the card. And then I'm going to put that aside for now because I want to pull in this other piece of Just Jade. And one of the stamps I'm pulling is this fun background stamp up here. And as I'm looking at it, it is not in English, and I wish I could tell you for certain what language the words are in. I could guess and say it's Spanish, but I'm probably wrong. If I figure that out, I'll let you know. But I'm going to do some background stamping in Just Jade, and so it doesn't matter. When you're doing background stamping, it doesn't really matter if the stamps are straight or if they're hanging off the page. We just want to create some kind of a background there. And leave that up for now. And then I'm going to glue this to the front of our card, just going across the middle. There we go. And then I'm going to take the 3 leaves. So when I cut these out, I put the adhesive sheets on the back of the cardstock before I ran them through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss. The adhesive sheets are great for fine detailed dies like these, and they come in a pack like this, and you just cut them up to size, and then they're peel and stick. And what they do is they create sort of a sticker backing for your dies. And this just makes it really easy when the dies are super thin like this, then you don't have to mess around with glue trying to get it on the little bits. So I'm going to peel off the backing, and you want to be a little careful so you don't rip the cardstock. And same as the other cards, I'm going to start on the left hand side, put them on an angle, and then layer them over top. Now if you didn't have adhesive sheets, what I would recommend for these dies would be to use the white multi-purpose glue, which is actually what I used on my sample card, because I always forget about adhesive sheets. I'm not sure why. I feel like I should just leave them on my desk, and then they would just be there in front of my face. Okay, and then we have this last leaf. Okay, so there we go, the 3 leaves. And next we're going to do our stamping. So I'm going to put this aside over here. And I'm going to grab the piece of crumb cake. And I'm going to do that same thank you stamp in Just Jade on the banner. And I'm going to keep it close to the top of the cardstock. And the reason for that is because I'm going to use that fun border die to cut off the end. So I'm going to use this die. So you could make the label any width you want. This edge die will just create this fun pattern at the bottom of wherever you lay it. So I'm going to grab my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and I'm going to zoom out here. So with the cardstock on my platform, I'm going to put down my die, and because I don't want it to move, I'm going to use a piece of this Post-it tape just to hold the die down. So I just want that to create the edge of my my label there. So I'm going to run this through. Just needs to run through once. And then I'm going to pull that out. And there we go. This aside. So it creates that fun stitched border. I have to put this down. Fun stitched border at the edge of that label. So it's a fun, just a fun detail for this label. And now I'm going to piece this bottom piece apart. So I've got this strip of Coastal Cabana. I'm just going to flag the end of that using my paper snips. So I'm cutting up in the middle and then cutting from each corner to meet that there. So I flagged that piece, and I'm going to glue these together just like that, and then add a piece of ribbon. This ribbon is quite thick, and actually because it's white ribbon, you can use the stamping blends to color the ribbon to be any color you want. So that makes this ribbon really versatile in your craft stash. I'm going to add a couple of dimensionals here just to give it a bit of layer on my card. And I'm going to put that down in the bottom here. And of course we need to embellish, so I'm going to grab a couple of these sea glass shapes. And my Take a Pick tool has disappeared on my desk. That's okay, I'll just use my paper snips here. So like I said, these are adhesive backed shapes, so you don't need anything to stick them on. I'm just going to add 2 there to the label, and there we go. So fun stepped up card. So again, this is for anyone who has the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. But you can see that this suite creates beautiful cards right from a beginner to sort of an intermediate and an advanced crafter. So I hope that you enjoyed this suite. There are a lot of fun suites in this new catalog. So if you need a catalog, feel free to reach out to me. If you have any questions about the bingo event or the paper share or any of the products that I've used in tonight's video, please feel free to send me a message or an email and let me know. Otherwise, I hope that you have a great night and you enjoy your week. Take care, and I will see you again next Sunday for Sunday stamping. Take care. Bye now.